to the room so they could be part of our official record. Please silence your electronic devices, your texts on the dais, email, and a message related to public business matters during this meeting may be subject to FOIA requests and should be avoided. No one should speak to another person who has the floor. Interruptions will be ruled out of order. Council members will be recognized by the mayor before speaking. Members may speak up to 2 times on any item with a combined total of no more than 10 minutes. Members of the public are allotted 3 minutes of speaking time during citizen comment or public hearing unless otherwise changed the council. During your citizen comment time, we will not respond directly to the speakers. Your responses, clarifications, or follow-up remarks may be offered later during a designated council comment period. Any member who is ruled out of order must yield the floor immediately unless the ruling is appealed in accordance with Robert rules. We ask that clapping, yelling, or any other outbursts not be permitted unless it's invited by me as the presiding officer. Disruptive behavior may result in the removal from this meeting and, if necessary, expulsion for the remainder of the session. Speakers who exceed allotted time or violate decorum may have their microphone silenced. And we ask that all direction to staff be given collectively by vote from the council. Please withdraw from any political commentary or to draw us into things that are inappropriate out. These rules are designed to protect the rights of all participants, to ensure we are in compliance with the law, and keep our meetings efficient, respectful, and productive. I thank you for your attention and cooperation to that. But before we begin tonight's meeting, we call the roll, take a moment to kind of speak from the heart. Our hearts in the town of Dumfries are heavy as we mourn alongside our Deputy Sheriff friend Joshua King and Delegate Candy Monday King on the loss of their beloved daughter, Candace Gabriella King, who passed away at just 15 years old. Many of us have had the opportunity to witness Candace's radiant smile, her remarkable strength at our town celebrations. She embodied light, love, and resilience, touching the lives of everyone who met her. Candace fought courageously against sickle cell disease, a battle that too many families in our community face every single day. Her strength reminds us of the importance of continuing to raise awareness, to support research, and to stand with those who live with this condition. On behalf of the Dumfries Town Council, our staff, and our entire community, we extend our deepest condolences to the King family. And we pray that God's peace and comfort surround them during this unimaginable time. A celebration of life for Candace will be held Wednesday at Mount Zion Baptist Church in Triangle. We encourage those who are able to keep the family lifted in prayer as their spirits, as they lay their precious daughter to rest. At this time, I ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of Candace Gabriella King and in support of the King family. Thank you. And may her light continue to shine through love, faith, and unity as we show one another here in Dumfries. At this time, Madam Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilmember Peterson? Here. Councilmember Pete?
Here.
Councilmember Fields?
Here.
Councilmember Young?
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Present.
Vice Mayor Nickerson? Mayor Wood?
Here.
Thank you.
Please note, Vice Mayor Nickerson called. She won't be in today. Next on the agenda, we'll have our opening invocation and prayer by Pastor Dr. Crystal Woodard. Is she here? I don't see her. Okay. So just have an additional moment of silence for me real quick, please. Amen. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic that stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please be seated. All right. All right, next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any amendments, improvements, removals from the agenda? Council, I'm going to move up the superintendent presentation to be the first presentation on the reports. I'm going to move that up to letter A and just move everything down in subsequent. So to be the first presentation. Okay. All right. And I'm also ask that we suspend the rules of council to allow her to do a full and complete presentation as well. So I'm going to make a motion to adopt the agenda first, moving her presentation up to the first presentation and reports and presentations.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion second. Any discussion? All right, seeing no further discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Aye. Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right. First on our agenda is some awards and, second motion I got. Thank you, Madam Clerk. It's a motion to suspend the council rules on the presentation for tonight.
Second.
Okay, so motion to second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Aye. Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, first proclamation is a recognition for Domestic Violence Month, whereas anyone can be a victim of domestic violence, regardless of age, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender, economic status, and whereas domestic violence threatens the physical, emotional, mental well-being of victims, leading to lasting harm for individuals, families, and communities, and whereas children who witness domestic violence carry the trauma into the future, increasing their risk for health and behavior challenges across a lifetime. And whereas domestic violence not only impacts intimate partners, but also endanger family members, neighbors, law enforcement officers, and community bystanders. Whereas ACTS, founded in 1969 and providing domestic violence services since 1980, remains the Greater Prince William area's only comprehensive domestic violence program, offering safe housing, court advocacy, individual and group support for children, adults, a 24/7 hotline, prevention education, and crisis intervention services that are free, confidential, and available to anyone in need. In fiscal year 2025, ACTS sheltered 67 individuals in its safe houses, assisted 1,271 clients through court advocacy and accompaniment, supported 2,630 participants in individual and group services, and provided 519 high-danger interventions through their lethality assessment program. And whereas ACTS is a proud partner in LAP, working with local law enforcement to identify victims at the highest risk of homicide and connect them immediately to safety planning and life-saving resources. And whereas ACTS has reached 2,606 community members in fiscal year 25 through prevention and education, equipping residents and allied professionals to recognize warning signs, connect survivors to resources, and support safety planning. And whereas ACTS works in partnership with law enforcement, the courts, healthcare providers, school, faith communities, local government, and many other organizations to promote safety, healing, and support safety planning. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the town of Dumfries. And we encourage all our residents to recognize and stand in solidarity with the survivors of domestic violence, honor the work of ACTS and its community partners. And we urge all residents to take part in efforts to build safe and healthy relationship and end domestic violence. Signed, October 7th, Mayor Derek R. Wood, by order of the Dumfries Town Council. You can applaud. Representative from ACTS here? Oh, there they are in the back. Come on. Go to the front. Yeah, I got purple on. Purple is the color of domestic violence.
Yes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, Chair, Council, and community members. On behalf of ACTS Domestic Violence Services, I want to thank you for this proclamation recognizing October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I'm Gwendolyn Diatillo. I'm our community educator for Domestic Violence Services. I'm here with my Director of Domestic Violence Services, Elisa Castillo. And many of you look familiar tonight, so thank you for joining us. This proclamation is not just symbolic. It lets survivors know that their lives matter and that they're not alone. Domestic violence is the most common form of violence in the world, accounting for 15% of all violent crimes in the United States. Nationally, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will experience physical abuse by an intimate partner, and every minute, 20 people in the U.S. are physically abused in their lifetime. We know the risks are severe. Survivors of non-fatal strangulation are 750% more likely to be later killed by their partner. The presence of a firearm increases the risk of homicide by 500%. Greater than 90% of domestic violence injuries are to the head, neck, and face region. And separation, the moment when someone tries to leave or when the threat that they might try to leave is the most dangerous time of all, and up to 2 years after. This violence does not just affect partners. A study of intimate partner homicides found that 20% of the victims were not the partners themselves, but family members, friends, neighbors, law enforcement, officers, or bystanders. And every year, more than 3 million children witness domestic violence in their homes, carrying that trauma for the rest of their lives. At ACTS, we respond to these realities every day, and you heard our numbers already. We shelter victims who are in imminent danger at our safe houses. We have one on each end of the county. We assist clients with their court advocacy through our through the protective order process and through criminal cases when they're the victim. We provide individual and group support for children ages 5 and up, as well as adults. And we have services in English and Spanish, but we also have translation services available so that anyone in need can come to us for support. On top of that, I do want to add that we do not ask for them. We meet our survivors where they're at. We do not require them to leave their abuser. We let them make that decision. We have a powerful partnership with law enforcement, and I thank you guys. I know it's the most dangerous call that you go on, and we depend on you. And we have our lethality assessment program through that, where officers are directly on scene, they're the eyes and ears, and they can call our hotline 24/7, and we can do safety planning. Beyond direct services, we reach community members through our prevention education, equipping people of recognizing warning signs, connecting survivors to resources, and support with safety planning. While October is recognized as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, ACTS holds awareness events and prevention programs throughout the year because this work cannot be confined to 1 month. Some notable events that we're doing is our annual fundraiser is our iWalk at Stonebridge Plaza in Woodbridge on Saturday, October 25th. You can sign up to support being a sponsor, a runner or a walker, or if you're wanting to donate in general, and that's at axpwc.org. We also are in partnership with Dumfries annually with the Pink and Purple event that's going to be at the Rose Casino and Resort on Sunday, October 26th. And registration is required, so you can look at the county website for more information. We are grateful for our partnerships with law enforcement, the courts, schools, healthcare, providers, faith communities, local government, community stakeholders, and multidisciplinary teams. And we honor those that we have lost to domestic violence, as well as the survivors who bravely share their testimonies and their loved ones. Together, we can save lives, prevent abuse before it turns deadly, and build a stronger, safer community. I thank you again for this proclamation and for standing with survivors and their families. Together, we affirm that abuse is never the victim's fault and that everyone has the right to a safe and healthy relationship. Thank you.
Give ACTS another round of applause. Thank you. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And next we're going to be presenting a proclamation to Mr. Reggie Tabor and our Planning Commission members who are present in honor of Community Planning Month. And it goes as follows. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live. And whereas the town of Dumfries adopted an update to its comprehensive plan on June 17, 2025, Destination Dumfries 2044, to guide development over the next 20 years. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the full benefits of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas National Community Planning Month is an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to recovery and how planners can lead communities to resilient and long-lasting recovery. And whereas the observance of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the town of Dumfries. And whereas the Commonwealth of Virginia recognizes October 2025 as Community Planning Month in the Commonwealth of Virginia, now therefore be it proclaimed that the Dumfries Town Council do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Community Planning Month in the town of Dumfries and calls this observance to the attention of our citizens. In witness thereof, I have here to set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Dumfries, signed by Mayor Derek Wood. And I would like to actually add some additional commentary and just want to commend Mr. Tabor and our planning commission for the growth that Dumfries has experienced over the last 10 years, for the work there, the constant volunteering, inputting into our comprehensive plan, and that dedication has really had a parallel to our economic growth. So I just want to commend you all personally in addition to that. So.
Come on, please. Come on. There you go.
I can't be in the middle.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Vice Chair. I'd like to say thank you to the Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the Town Council. I want to say that it is truly an honor and a privilege to serve on the Planning Commission. My name is Kelvin Noy. I'm the Vice Chair of the Planning Commission. One of the things I want to say is we try to give good guidance to the town council as far as our perspective on items inside of the town and the direction of where the town is going. So one thing we like to say, though, is we value feedback from everyone, all the residents in the town. So if you have feedback as to where you see the direction it's going, we welcome that input, and just want to say thank you.
All right, next on our agenda is we're going to honor Hamid and Parwin Hashimi as our living legend, and a major announcement for him as our 2025 Holiday Parade Grand Marshals. Hold on, let me read. Whereas some plant seeds while other plant legacies, Hamid and Parwin Hashimi have done both, leaving a lasting imprint on the landscape and the spirit of the town of Dumfries. Whereas many don't know, they fled a war-torn Afghanistan as newlyweds in 1981 and arrived in America with no land, no connections, and no certainty. Only their education, their work ethic, and their faith. And whereas through determination and discipline, they transformed across the street from this town hall a heavily wooded 1-acre plot in Dumfries into the Dumfries Nursery, a family-run business that has grown into more than 7 acres of community pride, horticulture excellence, and award-winning service since 1995. And whereas for over 30 years, the Hashimis have beautified the town of Dumfries and Prince William County, providing expert landscaping, transforming neglected land into vibrant green spaces, and earning the region's trust and recognition, including a #1 consumer rating for over a decade. And whereas beyond the accolades, their story reflects one of courage to start again with nothing and the discipline to persevere through seasons of delay and the commitment to build a brighter, more beautiful future for the town that they call home. The Hashimis are not only business owners, but they're community builders. They're land stewards, and they're living examples of the American dream fulfilled right here in the town of Dumfries. So now, therefore, be it proclaimed, we do hereby recognize Hamid and Parwin Hashimi as recipients of the 2025 Mayor's Living Legend Award and further proclaim them as 2025 Holiday Parade Grand Marshals, honoring their extraordinary story, their enduring contributions, and their lifelong commitment to our community. Signed, Derek R. Wood, by order of the Town Council. Now, round of applause, and then I'm going to ask Taraja to come up from Congressman Vindman's office before I present this. The Congressman Vindman sent something, and he wants to have it read.
Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Taraja Jenkins. Again, I'm a representative for Congressman Eugene Vindman, so please feel free to reach out if you have any questions after this. Now, congratulations again to Mr. and Mrs. Hashimi. These are words from the Congressman. It is my great privilege to congratulate you on being honored with the Living Legend Award for the town of Dumfries. This distinction is a celebration not only of your success as business owners, but of your extraordinary legacy as community builders and stewards of this town. Your journey to Dumfries is a story of courage, perseverance, and faith. Arriving in America as newlyweds with little more than your education and work ethic, you cleared your own land, built your own structures, and in 1995 established Dumfries Nursery. From those humble beginnings, you cultivated a business that has grown to over 7 acres of thriving land and earned recognition as one of the region's finest. For more than 30 years, you have helped shape Dumfries in both visible and lasting ways, transforming neglected spaces into vibrant landscapes, contributing award-winning design throughout Prince William County, and offering a trusted family-run business that reflects pride and excellence. You are not only business owners, but true community builders whose lives embody the promise of the American dream. On behalf of the United States House of Representatives, I commend your remarkable contributions and congratulate you on this well-deserved honor. Sincerely, Eugene Vindman.
Please stand and recognize Mr. and Mrs. Hashimi as they come forward for this incredible.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, and Town Manager. Thanks a lot. And also, it's another special thanks for Congressman Eugene Vindman. And as my father always told me, be a hard worker, be honest, and follow the rule and obey the law, and never quit. I never quit, and that's why I'm here. And we left Afghanistan, as Mr. Congressman mentioned, 44 years ago. And we just married 2 weeks later. We left the country because of the invasion of the Soviet Union. We didn't like the communist regime, so we left the country and by walking, but my wife was lucky. She rode on the donkey from Afghanistan to Pakistan. It took us 4 days and 3 nights. And the Russian helicopter and an army was chasing about, if they find us, they could kill us. But we got here. We went to Pakistan. From Pakistan, we went to West Virginia, Beckley, West Virginia, and shortly we came here in Maryland. It was Labor Day on that year. The morning, 8 o'clock, I went to Rosen's nursery, one of the biggest nursery in East Coast in Fort Washington, Maryland. I asked them for a job, and they said, okay, we gave you a job. I show all my documents. They hired me, I believe was less than $4, was $3.75 per hour. Since it was my own field, I said, okay, because I went to school for this. And I worked there. I think I started 8:45 that day, that morning, and I left 12 years later, 11:45. So I worked 12 years and 3 hours in that nursery. I didn't go from this nursery to that nursery or this job to that job. And I always tell these young generation, don't go for $1 from here to there. Just stay in one place and they respect you, they respect me, they give me a job. After, I believe it's 6 months, they gave me a raise, they gave me a house, and after a year, I become a manager, and 12 years later, my boss came and opened this nursery with me for the ceremony. And I'm here since that time. And this was a nice award you gave me, but I got 6 of them, 4 from the town. This was 4 from town, and I got 1 from Quantico base. Commander General gave me, and 1 Chuck, I believe was Chuck Robb, was a congressman, senator of Virginia, the son-in-law of President Eisenhower. They gave me an award there, and they gave my sons an award too. And they gave the key of the nursery more than 20 years ago to both of them. And they gave for 20 years, but we don't know where is the key. I told Mr. Pete, we have to find from this town where is the key, so we gave it to somebody else. Now they did their term for 20 years. That's enough. One of my old son has 4 kids, and my young son has 3 weeks old kid. He couldn't make it. So that is, we want to find a key now to give to another few young kids to run this town, because the town need it. Yeah. So thanks a lot. Anyway, it is really nice to recognize this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Another round of applause. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This proclamation goes in honoring Officer Carolyn Salate as the 2025 Police Officer of the Year. Whereas the safety and well-being of the community depend on the courage, dedication, and professionalism of those who wear the badge. And Officer Carolyn Salate has exemplified these qualities through her outstanding service of the town of Dumfries, consistently demonstrating integrity, commitment, and excellence in law enforcement. And in 2025, Officer Salate distinguished herself as a leader in the Dumfries Police Department, excelling in criminal investigations, court preparedness, and community engagement while earning the respect and trust of both her peers and the public. And whereas her remarkable achievements include leading in criminal arrests, and citations, contributing to high-profile investigations, removing illegal firearms and drugs from our streets, and setting a standard of professionalism that raises the bar for all who serve. And whereas Officer Salate has made history as the first female canine officer in the Dumfries Police Department, breaking barriers and inspiring future generations of women in law enforcement. And the town of Dumfries is proud to recognize her not only for her law enforcement accomplishments, but also for an example she gets as a protector, mentor, and servant leader. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the town of Dumfries and the town council do hereby proclaim Officer Carolyn Salate as the 2025 Police Officer of the Year and commend her for her service, leadership, and unwavering dedication to protecting the people of Dumfries. And whereas, wherefore, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Dumfries to be affixed this 7th day of October 2025 by way of order for town council, Mr. Derek R. Wood, Mayor.
Accepting on their behalf is the chief.
Obviously, I'm not Carolyn Solarte. She actually could not make it. She has been in K-9 training since September 22nd. But Councilman Young said everything that I was going to say, as well as the council. The town's blessed to have her. The police department's blessed to have her. She will be in training until November 1st, so she's been spending the month and a half away from her family in North Carolina. She has taken a bite on her first day from the dog. It was 5 stitches and was still at training that later afternoon, and she's still killing it, so she's doing great. But and we're proud to say the first female canine handler for the town of Dumfries, and she deserves it, so thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the September 16th minutes from our council meeting.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move that we approve the September 16th meeting minutes.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Any comments, discussion? Seeing no debate, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson? Aye. Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles? Aye. Mayor Wood?
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, next on the agenda is our citizen comment period. Madam Clerk, who signed up? Let's run the roll.
Okay, we have 14 people that signed up to speak.
But some of them are with Jazz, right? They all gonna come as one.
Okay. So I will probably just call all that signed up.
Okay.
Hope Robinson, Adrian Crawford, Malachi Wallach, Kendall McCall.
So come to
You
the.
come to-
As your name is
Oh.
called.
No, if
they
it's
gonna
flat,
speak?
yeah, just sit there. Yeah, we're gonna.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
keep Forest Park there.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and members of Dumfries Town Council. My name is Hope Robinson, and I am seeking to represent our town as I compete in National American Miss Pageant for Nationals. This opportunity is about more than the crown. It is about confidence, leadership, and inspiring young women to chase their dreams as well. The program offers scholarships to young women to attend college and aspire to their dreams. I'm asking for your support of our amazing local businesses and community members to help reach the national stage. In your email, you asked how you could help establish such a program. It simply needs an endorsement by the town council and support from local businesses. My goal is to raise $10,000 by November 15th as I compete. I am willing to put you in touch with other cities who have already done so.
Thank you for responding during our comments. All right, who was next? No, what's the next name?
Adrian Crawford.
Yeah, Adrian and speak. So everybody stand up from Forest Park. Adrian, come down, turn around, this way, face the people.
Good evening, and thank you all so much for being here. We are the Platinum Vocal Jazz Ensemble from Forest Park High School. We are here to invite our community, the people of Dumfries, to our upcoming fall concert, which will be held on October 15th. The concert will beautifully showcase all 5 of our choirs at our high school, along with our special guests and our friends in the Grant Park Middle School 8th grade chorus. Again, this concert will be held on October 15th at 7:30 p.m. at Forest Park High School. The admission is completely free. Seeing as our town rests on the Potomac River, which is always changing, flowing, running, and yet still constant, we find it fitting that the title of our concert is Let the River Run. We now, as a group, will perform a brief preview of one of our favorite songs called Trickle Trickle.
Trickle, trickle, splash, splash. Tell me how long will this rain last? The rain keeps dropping, there ain't no stopping. Tell me how long will this rain last? Trickle, trickle, slop, slop. Just got to see my sweet gumdrop. She's there waiting, I'm hesitating. Tell me how long will this rain last? Tell me how long will it last?
Thank you for your comments and your invitation. Was there anyone else signed up? Okay, that was it for comments. All right, we'll go to mayor and council comments. Councilman Fields, did you have any comments today?
Yes, good evening, everyone. Glad to see so many people out and supporting everyone, supporting our children here. Y'all sound good. Y'all sound good.
Wait, y'all got to listen to some of these remarks back from y'all before y'all go. Hold on.
In other words, sit down. Chill. Listen for a minute. But my days in high school, I was in chorus, and it led to me still singing and doing karaoke and all that good stuff. In town, I share my talents around the county. Last Friday, was it, town manager? Someone sent her a video of me singing karaoke over Manassas Park. And I won. So anyway, so glad to see everyone out. We there again have so much to be proud of here in Dumfries, and glad y'all come out and represent and be seen and be heard and continue to work in your community, in our community, or wherever you are across the Dumfries area. Continue to contribute and be a part of something great. We all love it. Again, our hearts go out to the King family on their loss, and to keep them in your prayers as we go forward. Also, we have coming up next week, several of us will be attending the Virginia Municipal League, which is great for us to attend so we can get great ideas and great things to bring back to the town of Dumfries. and to share it with others, as I will be presenting this year. I'm a class myself on community policing for the elected and for the officers. So we're looking forward to that, having a great time, and letting you know that Dumfries is seen all over the state and all over the United States. So we represent very well. Thank you so much.
Councilman Young.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know we're with the month of October, we celebrate, we recognize, not celebrate, we recognize domestic violence, also breast cancer awareness, but also more importantly, with the kids that's here today, National Bullying Month. If you hear your friends or your family or somebody even online being bullied, say something. Don't let it just go by. It affects not only the young minds, but also affects the mentality of those individuals that may not feel as though they have a voice to step up and say something. So please, always say something. And I just want to congratulate, again, you guys for having the courage to stand up and sing amongst a crowd of people that you don't know. But as you can see, you get the support, not only from the town, but also from the town council. All right? Just keep doing what you're doing and keep aiming higher. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, tonight I wanted to begin with a simple speaking from my heart. Life reminds us that every day is a gift, and some of the neighbors are walking through seasons of loss and pain. To the King family and to every family in our community who is grieving a loved one or a close friend, please know that my thoughts and prayers are with you. May God continue to strengthen you and keep you and your families in his hands. Now, on a brighter note, I want to thank and take a moment to celebrate what's happening right here in the town of Dumfries. From our incredible concert series to our first ever 55+ summer dance series and our amazing fall festival. Our participation numbers have been truly inspiring. The fall festival was one of my visions during my first term to bring people back together. Recreation for all is something I hold close to my heart. It's real and really my passion because I believe recreational builds character, confidence, and connection, not just for our children, but for our youth, adults, as they grow and face life challenges. Of course, none of this would have been done without the support and approval of my fellow town council members, where we're able to bring back the Park and Recreations Department, fully supporting the vision of Destination Dumfries. If you attended, volunteered, worked, or helped make any of these record-breaking events possible, please know you are a part of history right here in the town of Dumfries. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Pro Temp, my fellow council members, and especially to our amazing town manager, Ms. Tangela Ennis, thank you. As the Vice Mayor always says, thank you to the magic behind the curtains. That includes every department and every citizen who make our events and programs come to life. You make Dumfries shine. As we continue to grow and connect, I encourage everyone to download the Dumfries Citizens Connect app. That's the Dumfries Citizens Connect app. And follow the town of Dumfries on Instagram and Facebook to stay engaged with all that's happening in our great community. With that, Mr. Mayor, I yield.
Councilwoman Peterson.
I just want to send my condolences to Candy Kane, and I want to thank Forest Park for singing something I cannot do. But thank you, Mayor. I yield.
All right. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, too, would like to express my condolences to the King family as they navigate their way through this tremendous loss. My thoughts and prayers are with them, and they have the support. I want them to know that they have the support of the community, and we definitely will be honoring Candace's memory and all that we do. She was such a bright young lady. She loved to dance. She was in the color guard. She loved giving back to her community, and she would also give backseat commentary when I was talking to her mom to remind us that we needed to be doing the right thing to uplift people. So she definitely will be missed. Her spirit will be missed, but her spirit will be with us for eternity. So while we are sad, we want to be mindful of the fact that she is always with us. I also want to thank the students that came out tonight. I loved the singing. I cannot wait to come see you guys on the 15th. I'm going to get front row seats. I'm bringing people with me. I want to hear more. So I want to thank you for coming out tonight. And with that, I will yield.
Thank you. I got some brief comments just to add. I attach myself to all the comments that were already made and just want to reflect on kind of how far we've come over just September and kind of what lies ahead. Because September for us was, we had tremendous progress here in the town of Dumfries and a lot of community pride. I want to acknowledge the positive momentum and excitement we've seen from the opening of the Wawa, which is quickly becoming a local favorite around here, our Wawa. And I want to tell you, it's a leader in its dinner. They have $6 dinners, believe it or not, hoagies, chips, and a soda, and they are actually leading the nation in their Wawa right here in Dumfries with a number of lunches. So it's a small example, but it speaks to how Dumfries is growing into a place where residents actually choose to stay, spend, and support local. And so huge shout out to Wawa. I also want to thank whoever nominated me for this Black Brilliance Award. Thank you. Through the Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce. It's an honor to be considered among so many leaders from across the state who are making an impact on not only the community, but on local businesses. And so I'm humbled and I'm grateful for just the nomination and just being recognized in that category. For those who've been keeping up, we kicked off in the month of September a Legacy Builder series where we're teaching people about wills, trust, and insurance. And this program has been a great success. It's every Wednesday at 6:30. Residents are showing up to learn how to secure their family's future, not just for tomorrow, but for generations to come. I'm excited because tomorrow, this Wednesday, we're going into our insurance, and we're showing you how not just to wait to use insurance when you're dead, but how to use insurance while you're alive to create wealth, to invest in your family's future, to build businesses, and all those other things. So it's not too late to get signed up to be a part of the Wills, Legacy, and Trust. It's in partnership with the African American Mayors Association, our economic mobility initiatives, and so we want to teach economic mobility in our communities. I want to thank everybody who attended our town's recent visioning sessions on the waterfront and the community center projects. Your feedback is not just appreciated, it's very instrumental in us shaping the progress. Your voices are the voices that shape the next phase of what Dumfries is going to look like and how we grow together through your voices and your participation. And as we step into the month of October, we got a very special moment ahead. And I don't remember the date, but we have our waterfront key ceremony. What's the date of that, town manager? Just October 23rd. All right, so we have our waterfront key ceremony. This event is going to mark the official beginning of a historic chapter in Dumfries. And I want to invite every resident, every business owner, every community partner to come out and see where we're starting at right now. You need to see the genesis of where it is. And so we're going to take the keys from the property owner, and we're going to become the steward of 161 acres as we look to revitalize and restore the old port of Dumfries. And so make sure you stay alert to what's that. We're going to make sure that we have all our VIPs and our dignitaries there. And I want to give you food for thought as we finish out the month. It's at 3. Yeah, we'll put it up. Just check our website and our social media for the dates of that. Here's your food for thought as I want you all to finish the year strong. We're in the fourth quarter of 2025. And as we enter it, I want to leave you with a simple reflection. Because what type of energy are you given as an individual in the final stretch of this year? Every quarter of your life, every quarter of the year, it tells a different story. It's what we're going to coast or are we going to commit? And so this is our moment to either elevate, to begin to lean in, and to solidify the gains that you've already made this year, especially if you're a student and you're working for all year. Your time, your effort, your presence, they all carry value. And so let's invest that energy wisely. Let's finish 2025 strong with intention, with gratitude, and with focus, so that when you cross into the new year, 2026, we do it with momentum and pride and how far we've all come together. Thank you, Dumfries, for believing. Thank you for building, and thank you for becoming. The best is still yet to come. All right. Next, we're going to go. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, just to piggyback on the choir here, I'm not for sure if they're incorporated into our Christmas parade. Speaking of, Mr. Hashimi and the Christmas parade, but is there a way that if they haven't already been, can we install them into our Christmas parade if feasible?
Yeah, we'll have them reach out. We'll have Mr. Vines and our director of parks.
I told you I'm big on recreation, y'all. Let's go.
All right.
Thank you, Mr.
All right.
Mayor.
Transitioning, you all want to go, but you got your superintendent who's speaking next. So I ain't putting no pressure on y'all. I know. So we're gonna allow y'all to go as your superintendent prepares to take the podium as we get into our presentations. Dr. McDade, y'all have a good night. Make sure y'all do your homework.
Okay. All right. Yes, they have to be on time because we know that the student that is in school every day on time will be on time for graduation. So, yeah, they gotta go home, get ready for school tomorrow. All right. I really just want to first start by thanking you for inviting me to be here. Thank you, Mayor Wood, the entire council for joining you this evening to share a little bit about Prince William County Schools and where we are. It's not the full comprehensive state of the schools, but it'll give you a great snapshot into what's happening in the school system. And it's so apropos that I'm here this evening because we are getting ready to launch Vision 2030. So I came to Prince William County in 2021. And believe it or not, that time has gone by really fast, but the conclusion of Vision 2025 will sunset in December of 2025, and we'll be launching a new vision. So this is absolutely perfect timing. I do recall coming before you and sharing some information about Vision 2025, and so this will be the last hurrah for Vision 2025, but a lot of exciting things on the horizon for Prince William County Schools, and I think that you will be impressed to see all that has been accomplished over the last 4 years. So I'll start with our vision. If you can take a look at the screen, here's the vision for Prince William County Schools to ensure that every student graduates on time with the knowledge, skills, and habits of mind necessary to create a thriving future for themselves and their community. What does that mean when we say that? That means that we recognize that if we do our job well in education, that we're not preparing students to just receive the diploma on the stage of graduation. If we do our job, they should be able to acquire a rewarding career, experience economic mobility, and live a purpose-driven life. That's what education can do for them, and that's what that vision represents. So I want to spend our time together. I'm going to try to go through this really quickly. I know that it's late in the evening, and I appreciate those of you who are here to go into just the breakdown of our 4 key commitments. And so the 4 key commitments that we have in Prince William County, the first one is learning and achievement for all. In a nutshell, what that means is every student has a fundamental right to a high-quality education, regardless of their zip code. Doesn't matter where they live in the county, doesn't matter their race, their background, their country of origin. Every student should have equitable access to excellence in education and a fair shot to succeed. So when we talk about learning and achievement for all, that's what we're talking about in academics. The second one is positive climate and culture. That is our commitment to making sure that every student is in a school that is hospitable, that is welcome, nurturing, and safe for them. We are the most diverse county in the Commonwealth of Virginia. In our school system, you should know that our students represent 159 countries and over 170 languages spoken. So positive climate and culture is critically important to make sure that every student, family, and staff member feels a sense of belonging in our school system. And when we talk about safety, we're not just talking about physical safety. We're also talking about social, emotional, and psychological safety as well, considering the diversity of our school system. The third one, family and community engagement, is all about serving as trusted partners in education with our families, with our business leaders, and our community partners, because the school system cannot do this work alone. The last one is organizational coherence. Now, the first 3, everybody's with me. Like, yeah, we get academics, we got climate and culture. What is organizational coherence? Organizational coherence is a term that's most often used in business, and I like to tell people that we're a school system, but we are a business. We're a $2 billion organization. We are a business. Our business just happens to be education. And so with that, we want to make sure organizational coherence was designed to make sure that we operate as a unified school system and not a system of independent schools where families have students in different schools and every school is doing a different thing. We want to establish a standard of excellence that says that if you are a student and a parent in Prince William County schools, here's what you should expect across the board from every school. Now, schools can go above that floor, but they cannot go beneath it. So creating really a standard of excellence for every school and norming practices across the school system so that from one school to the next, parents are not trying to figure out, how to operate from school to school. So those are our big 4 key commitments, and those key commitments will remain the commitments as we go into Vision 2030. Some of our big goals I want to call out. For Vision 2025, we established many goals in the strategic plan. The biggest goal that we have, really that measures the health of any K-12, pre-K-12 organization, is graduation rate. So our number one goal for Vision 2025 is that by 2025, we wanted 95% of our students to graduate on time, and I'll get into the data in terms of where we are. Other goals that we shared in big goals, our wildly important goals, were around chronic absenteeism. So we wanted to decrease chronic absenteeism by 5%. I'm not sure why it's not going to that. Okay, here we go. So chronic absenteeism decreased by 5%. Coming out of the pandemic, absenteeism was a big problem for the school system. You guys may remember that I came before you talking about really needing an all-hands-on-deck approach to get kids in school. And so we have really pushed that. So that's a big goal. And then our 85% SOL, the standards of learning, that is the assessment that the VDOE is required for all of us to take. We wanted an 85% proficiency rate across the board. And then we wanted to focus heavily on a decrease in our English learner dropout rate. So we wanted a 10% decrease in English learner dropout rate. Keeping in mind, if I'm saying 10% decrease, that means that the rate was incredibly high, well, close to 25, 26%, which is abysmal. And so we put that in there, a 10% decrease specifically for that particular group of students, because that was the student group where we were seeing the largest dropout rate. So those were our big, wildly important goals. And I'm going to walk a little bit backwards from starting with key commitment 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And what I'll do in each one of those commitments, I'll give you the big highlights on what we've accomplished in each of those. So first, I want to highlight organizational coherence. So we have invested 200, the slides catching up to me or not. I'm going to keep going because time is of essence. So I'll give you this information for you to have. We invested $292 million in our strategic plan, okay? And that's not including capital. And what you'll see here across the board is what we've invested directly into our schools. 1,199 FTE over the course of 4 years in just serving academic functions. For positive climate and culture, you see 326 FTE. Family and community engagement, 116. A couple of highlights here. We have a parent liaison in every single school in Prince William County. Schools that may have been struggling with graduation rates now have graduation coaches. We have a college and career counselor in every single high school. We increased the number of teacher assistants for our classrooms with special needs. Every kindergarten classroom now has a teacher assistant. That's just giving you a taste for what some of these positions are. And that total investment of $292 million. One of the bigger things that I'm most proud of that we've been able to accomplish really is an average salary increase. You know that we've been under a teacher shortage, and retention has been critical. We made a commitment early on within our strategic plan to invest in our workforce so that we can retain top talented teachers. And you'll take a look at our salary increases over the years. And this was one of our highest priorities, and we've shown a commitment to this year over year. And I want to take a look at our compensation track record. Since my first year as the superintendent, 21-22, every employee in PWCS has received a salary increase year over year. And you can see 2022 was 5% with zero impact to benefits, 7% in 23, 5% in 24. From 20 to 25, we had a range a 5.2% to 6.1%. That range was equity driven. We had our mid-career teachers who were not competitive in the market, so we had to pump a little bit more into that mid-career so we could hold on to our mid-career teachers. So that's why you see that range there. And the same situation in 2026. One of the things that I think is most important, though, that I want you to take away, that shows our commitment to investing in our workforce. Just 4 years ago, we ranked third in entry-level pay for teachers with a bachelor's and fourth for those with a master's. Today, PWCS has the highest entry-level teacher salary in Northern Virginia. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the difference. Entry-level teacher salary in 21-22 was $51,431. Today is $62,562. So just showing you the commitment that we've made, and we're going to continue to invest in making sure that our workforce is compensated and competitive with our regional peers so that we can retain top talent. I talked a little bit earlier in terms of organizational coherence about standards of excellence. So we have established clear standards of excellence for how every school should operate. You'll see the 5 standards there. And they're established to ensure that education and access to resources are not defined by a student's zip code. So these are the norm practices that I referred to when I talked about the standards of excellence. We also invested within the first year, we took an assessment across all schools, and we saw that there was a digital divide. For those schools who had it in their budget to purchase certain technologies, they were able to do that. And for those schools that didn't have it in their budget, they went without. And so there were some serious inequities in access to technology, and we created a digital equity plan within the 4-year strategic plan. And I'm happy to report that we've invested $93 million in digital equity, meaning that no longer are schools responsible individually to secure more modern technology. As a school division, we leveled the playing field and ensure that every school has the same access to technology, the same equipment and devices, and they don't have to worry about fluctuations in their budget. We're making sure that there's equity across the board, and that was to the tune of $93 million. You'll see here, we focused heavily also on customer service. At the bottom where you see Zendesk, we implemented a system called Zendesk where people can put in direct tickets for complaints. We can track them. We can commit to a turnaround time, 24, 48 hours, and we can see how we're doing on that to make sure that people are getting communication from us and getting their problems resolved. So you'll see a little bit of data. We beat our goal. You'll see the average turnaround for closure rate on any problem that is brought to us from our community is 19 hours now. And in the past, it was 72 hours. So it could be up to 72 hours, and we're down to 19. So that's all around organizational coherence. Moving into family and community engagement. One of my favorite commitments, because it's so incredibly important to me that our families trust us and see us as partners in education. And so we delivered on our promise to close the gap between home and school. I just said that we had over 170 languages spoken within our school system. And so some of the things that you'll see in family and community engagement, it was critical to have a parent liaison in every school to bridge that gap, someone that's trusted in the community that can speak directly to families and have eyes and ears on the ground and know what's happening, a welcoming face that they can come to. Sometimes schools it can be intimidating if you come to a new county, you come to a new school, you don't know what's happening. And so that parent liaison is that person to help bridge that gap. We also set a goal to make sure that every school had a formal business partnership. In 2021, when we first launched, some schools had 2, 3, 4, 5 partnerships. Some schools had 0. And so we wanted to level the playing field and make sure everyone had access. And we put out a call to our, Mayor Wood, I know you were at the launch, we put out a call to the business community to step up and partner with our schools to help them meet their school improvement goals. And boy, did our community leaders and our businesses show up and show out. I'll give you some information on that in a few minutes, but now 100% of our schools, every single school has a formal business partnership to advance their school improvement goals. And that's what this goal, family and community engagement, has done for us. And we also renovated our Global Welcome Center for newcomer families that are new to the county, have a place to come and they can get wraparound supports and services and resources to get acclimated into the county. Moving on to commitment number 2, I do want to highlight really quickly. I think I missed something on communication when I talked about the number of languages spoken. Significantly, we increased communication. We launched what's called School Status, and what that is a two-way translation system where whatever the home language is, the teacher, the administration, the school system can communicate with that family through voice, text, or email, auto-translated. Two-way communication. And you'll see here, since the inception of School Status, we've sent over 17.1 million text messages over the course of 3 years of School Status, 13.4 million emails, 30.6 million somebody tell me, because I need glasses. What's that last? Is that the total? Okay, 30.6 million. Don't laugh at me. You might need them soon too. 30.6 million total messages delivered. And then you'll see our social media reach. Social media is a big deal too. But you'll see that we have really upped the bar for communication for our families. Moving into commitment 2, positive climate and culture. One of our goals, thinking about the fact that I said we have over 159 languages spoken, diversity has to be mirrored in our classrooms and in administration and in our schools, because students can't be what they can't see. And so it was important for us to make sure that we increase staff diversity, and we set a goal to increase diversity by 5%. And now, 5% might sound low, but I will tell you, in this last 4 years with the national teacher shortage and all of the demands, it was incredibly challenging to increase diversity in our schools, but we did that. In 2021, PWCS stood at 26% staff diversity, and today we're at 33%. That's a 7% increase. Note, the goal was 5%. We beat that, and we hit 7%. And a big contributor to that was our Participate Learning teachers. We set a goal that we would hire a minimum of 350 Participate teachers by 2025. Participate teachers are international teachers. They come from all over the world, from countries that represent the students in our actual classroom. We set that goal at 350. To date, we are at 396 international teachers. And so students are coming into the classroom and they're seeing teachers that represent the cultures and the backgrounds that they're from, and that's critically important to honor the diversity in our county. Security, a big deal on security, something that is on top of mind for everyone, and safety is our top priority. We met all of our goals in school safety. One of the big things I think a lot of people do not know about is that we have now a security operations center, first ever in Prince William County. We've never had. Now we have a security operations center that they handle. It's a hub. Everything goes to the security operations center, streamlined, so they control everything that deals with safety. Schools have a one-stop shop. They go straight to the security operations center and they handle all of the incidents, from communications to calls to working with fire and police. So since the inception of the SOC, we've handled nearly 3,000 calls, coordinated over 1,000 events, and delivered more than 1,900 incident communications with a 99% positive rating. So that's something we're really proud of. We also were the first, let me get the record straight, because I saw somewhere somebody says somebody else, Fairfax, and no, it was Prince William County. We were the first to implement Evolve in schools between September and October of 2023. In 2025, we had a 63% decrease in the number of disciplinary code incidents. We also experienced a 70% decrease in possession of knives coming into our school, and a 100% decrease in both possession of taser and firearm. Zero guns in school at all since we've implemented Evolve. And so that is something that we should be incredibly proud of. We also, to retain top talent and to recruit talent into our classrooms because of the teacher shortage, we also were the first, just so you know, Prince William County, we're some trailblazers here. We were the first large school division in the Commonwealth to implement a teacher residency and apprenticeship program. Oftentimes you have individuals who are career changers that want to come into the field of teaching but cannot afford to not have employment, not have a salary, because to go through student teaching working, you can't work. And so what we've done with the residency is they're learning side by side with a teacher, and they are being compensated for that as they work towards their certification. We also have the apprenticeship program for those who are not degreed already, and they are seeking an undergraduate degree to go into the field of teaching. And so we launched that through our partnership with Virginia Commonwealth University. We've accepted 20 new candidates for the upcoming school year. We have 44 active cohort members since 2023, and we've hired out of this residency 13 teachers who've earned their graduate degrees and committed to stay in PWCS for at least 3 years. You all could do better than that. These are the teachers of tomorrow. These are the people in front of our school system, and we're really proud to be the first. Also, we also believe in growing our own. So we know that there are teachers, there are educators, future educators right in our classrooms today. And so our Teachers for Tomorrow program is now in all 13. We set the goal to make sure that every single high school had this CTE program, Teachers for Tomorrow. And to date, all 13 of our PWCS high schools offer Teacher for Tomorrow courses. This is a full pipeline from classroom to college to career, and it's built right here in Prince William County. To date, we've hired 79 of our own graduates from the program who have come back to teach right here at home in Prince William County schools. And we currently have about 57 students who are enrolled in college programs pursuing teaching credentials, and they know they have a home right here in Prince William County when they graduate. And then closing out learning and achievement for all, which is commitment number 1. This is our most critical commitment. It represents our promise to provide academic excellence for every student. We have several notable highlights here, and I'll go through a lot of data. I'm going to try to go through it really quickly. But a couple of things I want to highlight. I want to start with post-secondary planning. This is critically important because in our vision, I said that our goal was to make sure that our students can succeed after they leave us. So right now, every single school I mentioned has a college and career counselor to make sure that every student is having a meaningful conversation with a knowledgeable adult to help them chart their future. Because of that, we made sure that every single graduate that leaves Prince William County has a concrete post-secondary plan. That means they're walking out the door with a plan for their future. Are you going to college? Are you going into the workforce? Are you enlisting? And we're helping them navigate that, because a student who has a plan in their back pocket has a plan for a successful future. So 100% of our graduates graduated with a post-secondary plan. But this is what I'm most proud of. If you look at our scholarship dollars earned, when we started, we set a goal in our 2025 vision that by 2025, we would have $260 million in scholarships earned. And I want you to take a look at where we are today. We know that the number one barrier to students getting to and through college is financial resources. That's the number one barrier. And what you'll see is that our goal was $260 million, but from 2022 to 2024, our students have reported over $492 million in scholarships. And that's with $159 million awarded just this past year. And you'll see the progression. From 22, we were at $91 million earned. By 2023, that class earned $119. By 2024, $123. And then the class of 2025, $159. So it just kept getting better and better and better. And I want to just thank our business leaders and community leaders, because they are a critical part of that. They have really stepped up to make sure that our students are obtaining scholarships. CTE, I want to highlight a lot of our CTE goals. We doubled down on CTE over the course of the last 4 years, because there are multiple ways for students to acquire a rewarding career. Yes, college is one pathway, but there are other pathways, and CTE is a viable pathway, not only to acquire a career, but if you also want to get a degree, you can go into the workforce and have the organization pay for your 4-year degree, and you can get that degree without paying a single dime. So CTE has done that for so many of our students. And I want to just show you where we are based on the goals that we set and where we are today. So you'll see that not only did we get the 100% business partnerships, but 65% of our CTE graduates earned at least one credential, and over 3,500 summer jobs have been secured for our students. Additionally, our students have had 932. Now, we set a goal to have 500 graduating seniors members by 2025 have at least one apprenticeship or internship in their back pocket. Look what we achieved, 932. And when it comes to partnerships, we set a goal to have 120 CTE formal business partnerships. To date, we're at over 373, almost tripling what we set as a goal. And then here's just some accolades for our students and what they've accomplished. Now, when I talk about credentials, students can graduate with multiple types of credentials. They can graduate with an early college credential that can come through advanced placement or IB or Cambridge or dual enrollment, meaning that they're going into college with already college credit in their back pocket, right? They also can get an industry certification. So for example, if a student is in the plumbing or electrical program, they can actually graduate with an industry credential, and you know what that does to their salary if they actually have that credential. We also have some students that can graduate with a state license in their back pocket out of high school. And we did have 150 students who did graduate with a state licensure in their back pocket. Those were our cosmetology students. You'll see that number up there. Over 21,000 industry certifications and more than 27,000 total credentials earned by our students. I also want to give a quick acknowledgement to our employee team and Project Search, and they've done some transformational work preparing our students with disabilities to achieve post-secondary success. And so they're included in that number as well. Let's take a look at some of the data around advanced course participation. We established goals in our strategic plan to increase participation in advanced coursework and gifted education by 10%, with a specific focus on underrepresented groups to reflect the diversity of our student population. So in some of these advanced courses, we were not seeing some of our minority students or even students that may be economically disadvantaged in this coursework. So we put a specific emphasis on that, and we've not only met but exceeded that goal. And you'll see the numbers on the screen for high school, the percentage of high school students taking advanced coursework, and the growth over the last 4 years at 9.7%, specifically for our English learners, and then a 10% increase for our Hispanic students, which were the lowest participating groups. So we've exceeded our goals there. Now, some people said, if I'm just transparent, when we started this venture, there were those who said, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. That's going to be, quote unquote, lowering the expectation or lowering our standard. And I want to show you something, because not only did we increase access, we also increased outcomes. I know you can't see all of what it says up there, but if you look at those bars, the only thing you need to notice is that every bar is rising. So not only did we increase participation, but their performance also went up, which says our students can meet expectations if we raise the bar and expect more from them. But we have to give them the opportunity to access excellence, and they will rise to the challenge. I always say that the problem is not raising the bar too high and they not meet it. The problem is when we set the bar too low and they meet it and gives them a false sense of achievement. So what has happened here is we raised the bar and the standard, and we got more students involved and integrated in these classrooms, and not only did they get access, they also excelled. So we're really proud of the performance. In over 3 years, we had a 44.3% increase in the number of exams that were taken. This year alone, this past year, over 11,000 students took AP exams, and more than 9,800 scored a score of 3 or higher, and you need a 3 or higher to be able to get the credential in that exam. Moving on to SOL, that's our state test. You'll see the data here from 21, 22, all the way to the final year. And the only thing I'll touch on here for the sake of time is that you'll see that all tides are rising. You'll see increases in a 6.5% increase in writing, 7% increase in math, and 6.4% increase in science. We are outpacing the state in every single measure. Prince William County is coming in higher than the state averages. Moving on to chronic absenteeism. you'll see that we set an initial goal to decrease chronic absenteeism by 5%. At the end of 2022, at the start of the strategic plan, we dropped from nearly 20, we had a 23.1% chronically absenteeism rate, which is high. And we dropped that from 23 to 16.4. That was a 6.7 percentage point decrease. It's a 29% decrease from 23.1% to 16.4% over 4 years. So you'll see that we're getting more students in school every day. As for dropout, if we move on to dropout, our dropout rate, we did more than move the needle in dropout rate. We redefined what was possible. Our goal was a 10% decrease in overall dropout rate for English learners, and we met that goal. In 2022, we began at a 6% overall dropout rate for all demographics. And in 2025, we decreased our dropout rate by 3.8%. That's a 2.2% point reduction, or about 37% decrease division-wide. For our English learner students, the dropout rate I stated to you earlier was close to like 25. It was about 24.4% in 2022. And in 2025, we're at 14.9%, nearly 10 percentage points. So we met our goal there. For our Hispanic students, we had a decrease of 4 percentage points. At the beginning of the strategic plan, our Hispanic students were dropping out at a rate of 12.2%. We've decreased that to 8.1%, and we're continuing to work hard to make sure that every student is staying in school and graduating on time. And then going to the wildly important goal of graduation rate. We set a goal to have 95% of our students graduating by 2025, and we are at an all-time high that the school division has ever seen at 94.8% graduation rate. And what you'll see here is that every single demographic has gone up. But the thing I am so incredibly proud of, and that it warms my heart every time I see it. Now, we got 94.8. You could say if you round, it's 95, but I don't want to round. I want it straight out, okay? So we're still working on that, but this is the highest we've ever been. But here's what warms my heart. You know who did get a 95% graduation rate? Students with disabilities. That is incredible. Our students with disabilities was the group that hit it right out. And so I'm really proud of the work that has happened and the collective progress and growth that has happened year over year in this school system. So here's what you should expect. We are launching Vision 2030. That's coming soon. That's supposed to represent an unveiling that's going to happen for Vision 2030. And I just want to give you a couple of big highlights for 2030. Our vision will remain the same. Our 4 key commitments will remain the same. Look, we've done a lot of hard work to get those 4 key commitments embedded in the community. I want the barista at Starbucks talking about the 4 key commitments in Prince William County. So we're not changing that. But 2030 is going to be all about developing our students' ability to be explorers. We want students to be driven by internal curiosity rather than just external expectations. We've got 3 big themes in Vision 2030. Global competency, personalized and adaptive learning, and teacher empowerment. We have a few milestones that I want to share with you. We've been working diligently to capture feedback. We're doing roundtables right now. We sent out surveys to our family and community to fill out the surveys to say what their hopes and dreams are for the school system for Vision 2030. If you did not get that survey, let us know. Give us your contact information. We'll make sure you have the survey so you can fill that out. And then just a little bit about the timeline. We have adoption. We started developing the strategic plan. We're expecting to do a soft launch in December. And then it'll come before the board in January. We'll do a public presentation. It'll be on for public comment for 30 days. And then it'll go before the board for a vote in collaboration with our regular annual budget. So that's what you should expect to see. I will definitely let the town of Dumfries know when the soft launch is coming. I hope to see you all present for that. You'll get a personal invitation. But even if you miss that, you'll have an opportunity to participate through the public comment comment, as well as the survey. So we'll make sure that you receive the survey so that you can get that out. But all of our families and community that are in our database have already received that survey. So we're gearing up for Vision 2030, but as you can see, a lot has already been accomplished in Vision 2025. And then finally, I will be doing a public presentation of the full 4-year strategic plan, going through every single goal that we set in a public board meeting. So please do tune in for that. These were just some really quick highlights, but a lot of information to share. And I just want to thank the town of Dumfries and the entire council for being trusted partners with us. You have been incredibly supportive and helpful in helping us to realize this vision. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with you over the next 4 years for Vision 2030.
Dr. McDade, if you could stay there for like a couple of minutes, just want to, first of all, thank you for just your leadership and what you've accomplished. Thank you for, always accepting my invitation to show up. I mean, we can't always tune in and see your board meetings because there's a lot of conflict. And so this annual address that you give to us and the residents here is important to us to be able to understand what's happening and the progress that you've made with that report. It seems like, man, I didn't realize that so much time is, I remember when you adopted this plan, I don't make it a habit of coming to your meetings, but it was the one meeting I showed up to say, hey, you came in on a 2-sheeter and these were my remarks at the board meeting.
Unfortunately, it was. That's what he said.
She had a 2-sheet comprehensive plan that she adopted, and she came in and gave a very comprehensive and what she just presented here. And to be able to execute and to deliver on that, you've been a model not just for school boards, for local governing bodies on how to get through and execute on a comprehensive plan. And so for that, I definitely want to commend you for what you're doing. That deserves a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna yield the council. Them. I got a question on food and securities. Council Chair Pro Tem.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dr. McDade, thank you so much for the thorough presentation. Just congratulations on your outstanding work. That is excellent. That investment that you have in our kids, one thing that I've admired, I remember when I first met you, you were telling me about all these great things. I was like, look, lady, I've been in Prince William County, whatever. But your investment in the full student and knowing that those students are not just successful when they're in school, but when they graduate, I'm personally attested in that. My niece and nephew graduated last year. The year before, they already knew what their plans were. They're like, look, I gotta talk to my counselor, I talked to my teachers. When my nephew's off at Norfolk State, my niece was in the advanced program, so she transferred over to Nova. She'll have her associates in the spring.
Awesome.
And she just graduated last year, and then she's going on to Virginia Tech. So my son also has benefited from the program. He's in a pilot program now that focuses on job readiness for kids with disabilities. And it's important because, as you know, there was nothing in place. So when they got out of school, they then had to get training, and then years later with a job. But with this program, he's job ready next year when he exits the program. So excellent. I just want to thank you. And for everyone who's listening, our superintendent is better than yours.
Thank you so much.
Councilman Fields.
My friend, my buddy, Dr. McDade, glad you're here. It is wonderful. I am so proud of the wonderful things that are happening here in Prince William County. And I'm proud, of course, my signature request came through. Thank you. Listen, audience, the public, she listens. And listening to the parents, listening to the community, listening to people, this is the result that you get. So I personally want to thank you for that. Keep listening to us. Keep doing great work. You didn't see me this year at any graduations. I didn't have anyone special mentored this year. But all of us take turns in mentoring children. All of us take turns in mentoring kids, and to see their accomplishments and to go forward with that, it's no better place than to see that come to fruition right here in Prince William County and have a wonderful leader as yourself. And we thank you for that, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great presentation. That was amazing, Ms. McDade. Dr. McDade at that. This is really a little deep and personal with me on the educational side two things, right? One, that these children are like all my babies, even including yours, right? Secondly, I have a daughter that's in her 5th year at ODU University, finishing up in child education also. So I'm listening to everything you're saying because I'm trying to pull her here to say, hey, we're doing good with our teachers around here. But thank you for the clarity on a lot of things there, especially with the new partnering that you guys are doing in the technology and the innovation there. And as far as your STEAM programs are going on, I can see the change. I can see the change from day one since you've been there. Read your bio and everything. Oh, okay, she coming from Chicago. She gonna be a little tough. Y'all better be ready. Okay, so let's see the difference. There has been a difference, and I want to say thank you from heart to heart. And as far as our disability goes, I've seen the difference. In our school safety, I've seen the difference. With our, I had a question for you. With the school status, is that a program or an app there?
It's an app. It's a platform. So it's a communication platform. And so, we can push out messaging. Teachers can also use it to do direct messaging, even voice calls, text messages. So it's an app.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. Again, Ms. Midday, this is outstanding. Everything is great. Everything is great across the board. The children are loving it. They're having a great time. One more thing and concern, just something to look into later, is the security measures at the football games. All right, with that, Mr.
Oh, no. Let's go there.
Okay,
so,
let's talk
security.
about
So starting last year, we started implementing the Evolve screeners at the football games and basketball games now. Before we weren't doing that, but now all spectators have to go through the Evolve screener system, and that started last year. And then we also now extended our security operations center to go to, I believe it's midnight now, to cover the duration of all games.
Oh, sounds good. Yeah, I've actually been through a couple of those, so they're actually working. So again, Ms. Dr. McDade, thank you very much. I will be in contact with myself for some guidance for my daughter and some of the citizens within the community here personally. Again, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I yield on that.
Councilman Young, or do you want to?
First, let me say thank you for not only a well presented presentation, but also for the job in which you're doing. When I was coming out of high school, I had taken a visit to Georgetown University and ran across Mr. John Thompson in his office, the former late John Thompson. And in his office was a bookshelf, his trophy case, if you want to say, but directly behind his desk was a flat basketball. And I asked him, why do you have a flat basketball behind it? And he said that I wanted every one of my students to know, what do you do when the air runs out? And from that day forward, I wanted to see or hear a school system that was doing that, not only in the college level, but now I see it in the high school level, elementary school level, junior high school level, middle school level. And I'm so thankful for the fact to know that you're doing that for this school system. Thank you so much.
All right,
for a job
thank you.
well done.
Thank you so much.
Councilwoman Peterson?
I'll say thank you as well. I have 4 kids that have gone through Prince William County, 36, 26, 24, and 17. Lyric graduates May 30th at Forest Park, and it's a big difference from the 36. So you are doing amazing. And
thank you.
You will see me on May 30th.
Okay.
Sitting right beside you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, so I just want to get to my questions. Mine is with the loss of federal funding that once supported the universal free breakfast and the lunch programs, how is the division addressing the increased strain on families who are now struggling to afford meals? Because when that rolled out, and I had your nutrition department come and do a presentation here, love with the transformation. I didn't see that in the presentation, but of just the fresh food and the fresh food options. That's another with the nutrition. But what are we doing for those families who are struggling to afford? And we know the importance of kids having a meal.
Yeah, absolutely. So we haven't lost funding as of yet, right? And so we're hopeful that does not actually happen. But we do have some contingency plans around that in terms of financial, not unlimited, but we're prepared to absorb some of it within the coming year and see how that all falls out. But in long term, I will say that we are launching 10 pilot schools to have food pantries, and we're putting in our strategic plan a goal that every single school in Prince William County will have a food pantry so that we can address food insecurity, because it's not just about when they're at school. We have families that rely on us for meals over the weekend, so they come on Friday and they pick up boxes for the family, and so we're expanding the number of schools that are offering the food pantry, and so we've got 10 pilot schools for the upcoming year, and we'll be doing a big ribbon cutting on that coming up soon. So I'll make sure you guys get information on that, and so we're just trying to get as many of the pantries that we can in different communities so that families can have access and support. Again, this is one of those things that is not, the school system can't do it alone. It was kind of like when we went through the pandemic and different, like we can't do all things, and we've got to stop pretending like we can. We need the help from different agencies. So certainly we are looking forward to any help that you can provide to help us make sure that we're getting as many of the food pantries that we can in place. As far as the in-school meals, we haven't lost dollars for that yet. And then we do have some contingency dollars that we will use and exhaust until we run out of that, and hopefully give us a runway to formulate a broader plan with help from legislators and community leaders.
Thank you. Hope the community council, everybody saw value in us suspending our rules for this presentation. We don't normally do these long presentations, but we have to do it for our annual school address to make sure that you get that information. And so thank you again, Dr. McDade, for this comprehensive presentation, and we look forward to seeing you. With that, I'm going to give the council a quick 10-minute stretch break and a bathroom break. Councilman Pete, you.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. You know I'm always adding in something, right? So I did hear food pantry, right? And I hear partnership, and I hear food pantry, I hear food pantry, I hear partnership. If we don't have that installed already, is there any room for us to be able to install or partner with you guys and do a food pantry here in the town of Dumfries?
So Spark is our educational foundation, and that will be the vehicle for the council to go through to be a part of that. And they're in that's in progress right now. So I would say definitely jump on board before it's time to do the big launch of it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right,
Thank you.
We'll have a quick recess. Oh. Full 10 minutes. Come on now. All right, welcome back. Call the meeting back to order. All right, we'll move the agenda around just a little bit. Next up for presentations, we'll call up McGuire Woods to present our legislative package and give us a legislative summary. Floor is now yours, sir.
The presentation. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's right.
But you can start talking and we'll get you up.
Yeah, my name is Preston Bryant with McGuire Woods Consulting, and I'm joined here tonight with my colleagues Travis Blankenship, who on a day-to-day basis quarterbacks our engagement with you, and Tyler McNeil from who is in our Washington office and handles your federal requests. I will go through this a little bit quickly. So we're going to do a little bit of a snapshot of state and federal landscape and a little bit of a preview of the 2026 General Assembly session, which is just right around the corner from us. A couple of notes ahead of time. As you know, this is Governor Youngkin's last year in office. He's down to his last few months. In the 2025 legislative session, which we had in January and February, was his last General Assembly session. And he is currently preparing the budget, and we'll talk a little bit more about that for the incoming governor, whoever that may be. This is, as we all know, an election year, governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and all 100 House seats. We do not have any Senate elections this year, state Senate elections. There are about a dozen House seats scattered around the state that are going to be most competitive. By competitive, I mean those that, based on 2023 elections, the results were either somewhere between 50.1% and 53%. So those are the close ones. The 2026 General Assembly session will thus have a newly elected executive branch and a newly elected House. The governor is preparing, Virginia, as you know, operates on a 2-year budget. The governor is preparing the next biennial budget. He will present it in mid-December. The legislature will then take it up in January and work their way with it. What's going on in Washington, D.C. and the federal budget and policy upheaval, Tyler McNeil will talk more about, but that's going to be not too far in the background for all the reasons we know and appreciate. This is going to be the 60-day session. That is the long session, the even-numbered years of the long session, the odd-numbered years of the short session. And so we're going to, this session where it's going to be shaped by the new governor's agenda, whatever that may be, and how whatever messages that we deem to be takeaways from the November 4th elections will be not too far in the background as well. You can see this very evenly split in the House and Senate, a very slim majority. The lieutenant governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, of course, are all Republicans right now, and a very slim Democratic majority in the legislature. On the bottom, I'd just like to point out the power of Northern Virginia. You can see in the House of Delegates, there are 14 committees, and 13 chairs are either from Hampton Roads or Northern Virginia, such as Chairman Torian, Chairman of Appropriations, right here in Prince William County. And in the Senate, there are 10 committees, and 8 of those are from chaired by Northern Virginia Hampton Roads, such as Senator McPike, who chairs the Local Government Committee, the all-important Local Government Committee. The economic snapshot, this is a tough budget year. We know that. Last year, the state general fund surplus was $1.2 billion. This year, it's half that. It's almost just shy of $600 million. And you can see the unemployment trends in Virginia. Virginia is the only state in the nation that has had 6 straight months of increasing unemployment rate. We're the only state in the nation. Last month in August, the UVA Walden Cooper Center released their economic forecast, and you can see I'll just focus on those last 3 bullets. The economic growth for 2026, they say, is increasingly unfavorable. They say the employment rate will continue to rise, and they're predicting that today's 3.6% could be as much as 4.6% next year. This is the budget year, and these are the things that will be on Chairman Torian and other legislators' minds as the federal government cuts back on Medicaid or on Medicaid, which kicks in 2027. Virginia is looking at maybe a $700 million impact just on Medicaid starting in 2027. That'll be factored into this budget. This is also the year for K-12 re-benchmarking. Every several years, the state takes a good look at the latest education trends for K-12 to align populations and achievements with the latest skills and technologies and such. And that could be as much, we hear, that could be as much as $1.5 billion to right the ship on education. And just Water Quality Improvement Fund, the state-local partnership for wastewater treatment plants, that in and of itself is upwards of $800 million, again, starting in 2027. So I say all of that to really paint a picture of managing expectations when it comes to state dollars and some of our priorities that we are arguing for on your behalf. In talking to Senator McPike and Chairman Torian, they both underscore things that I have said today, that it's a tough budget year. We will do our best. These are the big issues that you'll read about. No surprises there. Again, we're building the budget this year, the state budget, the federal budget cuts, and the Virginia impacts, which Mr. McNeil will talk a little bit about. Data centers is always a big issue, not especially in Prince William County. And we know the gaming issues are important to Prince William County and to Dumfries in particular, in protecting those interests. There are two committees, one in the House and one in the Senate, that is looking at the federal impacts on budget cuts and federal workforce reductions. Prince William County and the town of Dumfries obviously has a goodly number of federal employees. So you can see that there's a special subcommittee and a special committee in the House, and you can see who's on it there. No one from Prince William County. And in the Senate, it's the same. They're looking at the same issues from the Senate perspective, and you can see their meetings, their listings there. I'm like your superintendent. I'm straining to see our schedule. We're right on schedule. In September and October right now, we are meeting with you to work on, and you will adopt, I think, tonight your legislative agenda. We have already started engaging with your General Assembly delegation on what your emerging priorities seem to be. And we're getting good feedback. So you will adopt those, I think, tonight, and then we will work with Ms. Ennis to formalize the town's legislative agenda and work with Ms. Ennis to communicate it on your behalf to the General Assembly delegation. Some of the deadlines upcoming, again, right now, shortly after the election, legislators return their attention to drafting bills and those kinds of things. And November 17 is the first date they can start really kind of dropping bills in the hopper, so to speak. And you can see some other deadlines that we are very mindful of going forward. These are your requests, Mr. Mayor and members of council. These are your priorities that you have put before us through Ms. Ennis, and we are working on these. We know your Main Street and Route 1 realignment, your all-important waterfront and district projects. Tourism is very important here in Virginia's first charter town. In the pedestrian safety at Possum Point, there may be some VDOT type grants out there for that. We will pursue, we will look into that and possibly pursue them. And these are some of the emerging policy positions. These do not necessarily require action by your General Assembly delegation in terms of bill drafting and budget amendments, but we know that these are your priorities. So here we will look for opportunities to advance these on your behalf, or if other legislators or Virginia Municipal League or others are pursuing these, we will speak up on your behalf and support these as well. Let me now turn it over to my colleague, Tyler McNeil, to talk about the federal budget, the federal landscape now.
Thank you, sir, and Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Pleasure to see you all again. I'm going to skip forward just to briefly touch on current federal landscape. As you all know, we're going into day 8 of a government shutdown. Don't have to tell you what that means for Northern Virginia as well as Dumfries. 750,000 federal employees furloughed, military members active duty are not being paid currently or will not receive their checks. It's a difficult time, and Northern Virginia always feels it and has felt it the last couple of months. We're continuing to monitor this and regarding how we got here, just to kind of give a brief overview. House wasn't able to pass the CR. House passes the CR. I apologize. Senate was not able to pass that same continuing resolution. You need 60 votes in the Senate to advance that to a vote for approval, and the last vote was 55 to 45. Without getting too much into policy, Democrats obviously are needed to pass this budget and have certain priorities that aren't being met currently by the administration. I want to talk high level what that means for Dumfries as well as your priorities from a funding sense. And I'll go, give me one moment. Okay. So currently, we'll go back then actually, I'm sorry, this is a different slide. You had 3 requests, both north and southbound utility lines, relocation, as well as Quantico Creek flood mitigation project. Excuse me. Those requests were ultimately selected between your 3 representatives at a reduced funding level. So Congressman Vindman, who's been very supportive, I want to say, and give his representative a shout out here, who's still here at 9 o'clock at night. But the Congressman has been very supportive, put in for $1.2 million for Quantico Creek flood mitigation. And these are community project funding requests, as well as Kane and Warner, $900,000 for southbound and $800,000 for northbound, and $1.5 for Quantico Creek. What that means ultimately at this point in time is if the CR were to pass, they're not included in CRs. These congressionally directed spending earmarks are not included. Now, the consensus is at the moment that if a budget is passed by normal order, both Republicans and Democrats would like to include earmarks. This funding is not guaranteed, but if a budget were to fully pass, your projects are in that budget. We'll continue to monitor that. We'll continue to watch, but want to make sure that it's understood that the fate of earmarks right now is uncertain, along with many other things. I want to go through outlook for the rest of the year, remainder of 2025, and then into early 2026. So we'll continue to monitor the government shutdown as well as your congressionally directed spending request. We want to look to host a visit. This request has been made to Congressman Vindman, and he's been acceptable towards it. So we'll look to schedule that as a site visit, but also want to have you on the Hill. We'll look to schedule that once. We'll look to each member's office to give us guidance regarding timeline, and we understand that with time it's easy to make that trip up to 95. Last thing I want to touch on is monitoring agency NOFOs. So there are certain funding opportunities that are required in law. A lot of the funding from the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going into its last cycle in 26, but the administration has to fulfill this. Now, we'll work with the town manager to make sure that your eligible projects are meeting the guidelines that this administration is setting currently. They're putting a strong emphasis on making sure that projects align with their priorities, but it's not impossible to get funding. Through support with your delegation, as well as our partnership, we'll make sure that Dumfries is well positioned. So with that, I'll ask Preston to come back up for questions as well, or questions from the town.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just do have a question about the budget process and as it plays out. You said the things that are earmarked for our projects, that if the budget passes in regular order, we're looking in good shape to take that. However, we know Capitol Hill, we basically been living off the CRs for a very long time. So through the CR process, is there a potential for these projects to get funded if, let's say, we don't pass a budget in regular order, or we don't pass a budget in regular order until several months into the fiscal year? What would be the contingency plan?
It's unlikely, but not impossible. What's more likely is that we'll see specific appropriations bills passed. So, for instance, ag, Homeland, potentially THUD, but it depends on the priorities. I think that Republicans are going to use earmarks to try to negotiate as a negotiation tool with Democrats to get them to vote on a final budget. So the more bills they pass with inclusion of earmarks, the less they're able to use that as leverage.
Listen, thank you for your thorough presentation, and thank y'all for representing us both on Capitol Hill and in Richmond. I think having somebody on the ground to be able to provide us those updates on a regular basis is important to represent us in those rooms. And so we're looking forward to see how, as the sessions start, what bills we can get formed, especially if there's a super majority that we can influence in Richmond that can make some things happen down there for us. So thank y'all for the work you're doing. Chair Pro Tem.
Okay. I have one more question about the General Assembly specifically. So with the cuts that we know we're going to get from the federal government and the state having to absorb these costs, has the legislator indicated any priorities as of yet? Like, are they more educated in the cuts that are coming to healthcare, so then infrastructure takes a hit? Have they indicated what the priority of the General Assembly will be?
Yeah, reading the tea leaves, it's looking like Medicaid and SNAP would be priorities, and so Medicaid itself, there are still Department of Medical Assistance Services, the Medicaid agency. They're still trying to determine exactly what the hit will be to Virginia. The best estimate right now is $700 million beginning in fiscal year 2027. And so SNAP, I have not heard a figure on that and how much the state may have to step up and fill in that hole as well. But usually the Health and Human Services will be priority. And as you said, that makes it much tougher for infrastructure-related projects. Virginia has not had a big bond issue in quite some time for capital projects. And so that's always a possibility. Now, I don't want to promise anything because I haven't heard too much discussion on that. I've heard a little bit of discussion about it. But that could, given interest rates and such, that could be a possibility. But we'll see.
Thank you for that. I really just asked that question for the education of the public and for us as a whole, because we might need to manage expectations. Right. And we need to see, we have our goals, we have our things, but there are other things that are going to be prioritized. And because of the way these processes are looking, not necessarily in the General Assembly, but in Capitol Hill, some of the things we want, we might have to absorb other things. So I just wanted to make sure.
Right. And I also would underscore this is the year for K-12 re-benchmarking, and that could be as much as $1.5 billion. And so that would likely take some priority as well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me see what the question was at. Okay. For our citizens' clarity, can you explain the earmarks, please?
Yes, so this is, and they renamed them a few years ago to community development projects. It's 9 o'clock, please excuse me, council. The process is representatives is strictly discretionary. Representatives are able, in the House and Senate, are able to put forward projects that they'd like to request funding for. The Appropriation Committee navigates through that list, decides at what level they're going to include that funding ultimately in their budget suggestions, and then that goes to the House floor for a vote, House or Senate. So the benefit to this funding stream is that it's strictly discretionary for the member, for your congressional delegation. So based on your relationship and their awareness of the projects that you'd like supported, they're likely to put those forward. And if they are included in the final bill, then you're receiving that money.
Sounds good. Oh, good. I would like to definitely get some update on the cannabis market updates whenever you guys get a chance to that. And then also, do you guys have y'all next date when y'all will be coming to us for an update?
I'll leave to my colleagues, but we'll work with the town manager and yeah, at your pleasure. But make sure that we're giving you a good cadence of updates.
Sounds good. If we can moving forward, we can come to our meetings with an tentative date moving forward, so we can start penciling in.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Town manager.
Mayor and members of council, McGuire Woods has said they're on contract with us, so they'll come whenever y'all would like us, as frequently as y'all would like them to. I just want to make sure, as we're managing expectations, that we give them an opportunity to have some updates. Okay? I'm sorry.
Councilman Pete?
Are we still using the same format of communicating with you through them in that way?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just for clarity, just want to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all.
Quick state question. Because you talked about our emerging priorities. What's the likelihood that, give us a realistic timeline if we wanted to introduce a bill and get support from all these other organizations and put it through? Mm-hmm. Let's just say the small town tourism district or something.
Right. If you wanted to introduce legislation, now's the time to be thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And now's the time to be trying to formalize just what that would be and to entering discussions with either Delegate King and or Senator McPike, and to the extent Chairman Torian can be helpful, that's good as well. Now, October, November is when they start looking to work with legislative services to have bills drafted. But first, the legislators need to be fully informed and make sure they understand your intent to see if it aligns with what they want to do. It's their legislation. I will say that the House and Senate members will have a limit on the number of bills they can introduce. The procedural resolution hasn't been really put down yet, so I don't know what that limit will be. Sometimes it's 15 to 20 to 25 bills. And of course, they represent parts of very busy Prince William County as well. So they will have to work to try to incorporate as much local interest bills as possible. But we do need to get to them pretty early.
So that was going to be my question. My question was going to be, would you socialize our interests and find out what's the likelihood that we can get carried this year, or if we have to wait, and who the co-sponsors could be, and what other organizations that can kind of support to give us, like, if you give us your best advice on, hey, looking at some of your emergency positions, after talking to the chair of this committee, that committee, I think that this year we could probably get this bill first read through or second read through, that we would know that in a year or two this could become law.
Yeah. So much, to state the obvious, so much depends on the outcome of November's elections to see what the new governor's priorities may be and how the legislature factors all that into it. I heard, I do a lot of work for Virginia Municipal League, and I heard someone say that, Mr. Fields, I think, that you'll be at the VML conference. We try to do strength in numbers. We try to find like-minded interests like VML or other towns or cities or even counties that may have similar interests, and then try to bind together the strength in numbers. If there's, to use your example, if there are other towns who would like that legislation as well, we will seek them out and try to bind together during the session.
Okay. All right. Look forward to hearing more about that.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Chair Pro Tem.
I just have one question following up to the last statement about banding together. Mm-hmm. When it comes to something like infrastructure, and we know things are going to be limited, priorities are going to be set, but when we talk about banding together for collective bills, my initial thought is there's only so much money to be had. Yeah. So how much collaboration are we doing for this? Like, what would the strategy, is that really, is that advantageous? in every sense to constantly collaborate? I mean, like what would be the strategy and ensure?
Infrastructure, broadly speaking, if it's things like Stormwater Local Assistance Fund, I mean, we know that there's $50 million at least in legitimate needs out there among localities. We've done a needs assessment, and so we know for stormwater, there's at least that kind of demand across Virginia. Of course, that's a dollar for dollar partnership, so if it's $1 million project, we go halvesies on it. So those things are going to take on a life of their own in Water Quality Improvement Fund and things like that. Other infrastructure projects like the ones that you've delineated are often parochial. And for, you are well positioned. You've got some senior members of the delegation who can help carry the water. But even they would tell you in a year like this, when the budget's going to be tight and you have all the federal uncertainty and they're going to be squirreling away money because of the federal uncertainty. They want to keep boosting the rainy day fund, for example. They don't know what's down the pike. They would probably encourage you to prioritize your top one or two and then communicate that to them. That would be my suggestion. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just to add and give a little context to the collaboration with the small town tourism district, right? Looking at appropriations that's already set up for tourism and not trying to create any new appropriations, but just have some of that money set aside and reserved for towns that has populations of 10,000 plus. I think collaborating with those other towns to create those tourism district. In that sense, to have a grant program set up for small towns under 10,000 so that they can boost their tourism, and those towns with under 10,000 can apply for that money, because we don't generally get an opportunity to compete with those largest jurisdictions to get those tourism dollars. And so in the case of a small town tourism district, I think that, there's some ways to frame it and to sell it to our senior delegation. And like you said, it's good to have Delegate King as the chair of the particular committee that we need to make that happen. I just wanted to know if we get a timeline to figure out how we can have a path forward.
Yeah, we will work with Ms. Ennis on the timeline and get back to you on that. But in my slide presentation, there are some key deadlines.
No, I see those. Thank you.
So those will be our guide. And I will be at VML also, Mr. Fields, and there as well.
All right. Thank you for your presentation.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next on our agenda is our Economic Development Authority update.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, members of Town Council, staff, and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to present tonight. Before you is a proposed onboarding plan. So I created this presentation for two purposes. One is to primarily inform you on the work plan, but also as a orientation training tool for the EDA as part of many other things that they'll have to do to onboard prior to or during their first meeting, which we're hoping to schedule in October. So two purposes, two audiences, but it's the same presentation. This is the agenda for the presentation. Obviously, the proposed 30, 60, 90, as well as the short-term initiatives are the main, the key takeaway from the presentation, but we'll go through the agenda here. So this is your current board of directors with the EDA. First, I want to thank you for appointing a very diverse and distinguished cast of members from the community. Their skill sets will be very valuable as we engage in some of these complex projects, particularly as it relates to public-private partnership. And then the second thing that's important for us to know their backgrounds and interests as well is I find that developments involve a lot of players, and sometimes an architect doesn't talk the same language as an engineer, and so it's important for us to tailor the discourse accordingly to where we can keep the momentum going forward. But this is your current slate with their appointed terms, and you can see that the TBD is for their position, which they will have to vote on at their first meeting, and typically that's include president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of staff, so by nature of our work portfolio, Mr. Tabor and myself are the main staff point of contact for the EDA. But as you can see on the bottom, many staff will have a role to play as a project progresses through the process, to include town manager, town attorney, finance, et cetera. And all the way to the back end to include James and Eric when it comes to site plan and building review plans. And so a lot of players involved, but we will be the main conduit between you all and the EDA. So some of the best practices as we're getting this NT onboarded. Some of these are tied to the enabling legislation for compliance purposes. For example, they're required to do an annual audit to you all to make sure that they're transparent. But several other items are just best practices from all the EDAs around the local jurisdiction. For example, appointing one of us as an officer. In this case, I would recommend as a treasurer to kind of provide oversight of their finances, as well as because they're just new, getting them on board, getting them acclimated to local service. We recommend an every other month meeting cadence to get them established before projects actually get through their pipeline. And then obviously for the EDA, by statute or by the powers created for them, they can pursue their own initiatives, but as staff liaison, we want to scope their energy and their focus to things that are tied to the comprehensive plan as well as Dumfries 2044, so that we can achieve your strategic objectives. And then on a macro level, a lot of EDA members don't get briefings on the macro economy, which is important for their role. And so I want to make sure that they get tie-in with the Weldon Cooper Center and or Bond Council for some of those macro economy briefings, just so we can keep an eye on interest rate, things of that nature. And then finally, as the EDA can lend, lease, and invest in properties, it's recommended that they have their own taxpaying ID, but still integrate into our local budget. And I'm happy to discuss that more. But in essence, if there's an opportunity for bond financing that the EDA is headlining, they need their own taxpayer ID to keep them separated from the town council. In terms of the proposed 30, 60, 90 days work plan, very busy slides. I'll try to summarize the key points here. Obviously for October, which is currently where we're at, staff did some background work to make sure that we draft the bylaws that capture the town ordinance, state code, et cetera, to focus on their specified and implied powers. The draft bylaws already is under town attorney final review. We also sent out, thank you to the town clerk, the appointment letters, and I just sent out a survey to EDA members to get their availability on the first meeting in October, and right now it's looking like October 22nd is the preferred choice among the majority of the members. And then subsequent to those, like I mentioned, during that meeting, they'll have to appoint an officer, do some additional training. On the back end, IT will have to set up the infrastructure to support them, whether that's an email addresses or town website, so that people can refer back to that entity. And then I mentioned the finance, establishing the budgetary structure to incorporate them. And then as we move towards to November, once they kind of get the formality implemented and become an operating entity, then we can start to integrate them into the larger EDA networks, whether it's NOVA, Prince William County, get them integrated in town events for marketing, for recognition, and then getting them introduced to some of the potential projects that we have identified in the comp plan that may require EDA assistance. And so even though you see the slide sort of taper up towards December, we will strive to keep them busy with the goal of trying to do the formality part done prior to the holiday season as we onboard them to actual projects. Because the EDA is new with limited funding, we obviously want them to start out with some small wins, identify small projects that are tied to the comp plan or Dumfries 2044, so that we can kind of get some of those small wins in as we integrate them, like I said, to the community, to potential development partners. And some of those small wins or small projects are on the top there, as you can see. Looking to establish a small business council. I know we're involved in survey creating creating a business survey, all the way to, exploring grant program for facade improvement or Main Street grant program. And then towards the end there, as you can see, as the EDA get more integrated, start those initial exploration for development opportunities for some of the major projects that Mayor would touch on earlier. So what is the benefit for the folks that volunteer to serve on EA? Well, that's definitely the networking, and staff will try to get them integrated as much as possible to that business ecosystem in the region. And then on the human capital side, there are opportunities for seminar, webinars, conferences like the ICSC conference in Vegas that a lot of EDA members as well as business leaders attend. It's a great forum. I've been there myself. And then, getting them integrated into town events and then recognizing them for the service. So that's the benefits to the EDA members. And then lastly, for benefits to resident, as I mentioned, the EDAs, the folks that you appointed are very, established. Their value, the skill set will provide value for the work that we're going to do, and they're invested in seeing that the town does well because they're part of the community. And by authorities granted to them, there are creative financing mechanisms that they can engage in to give us, the town, potential lower financing costs. And then there are other additional mechanisms such as consortium or cooperative agreements that they can participate in to kind of increase our purchasing power. And then finally, the EDA main goal is to increase the commercial tax base so that residents get lower residential tax. Yeah. That is all I have. Any questions?
Chair Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir, for the presentation and for the updates on the EDA. I do have a couple questions regarding the members who we are invested in success at the EDA. I know you mentioned the Weldon Cooper Center, and are they VCU or UVA?
UVA.
Okay, because I know that when we appoint new planning commissioners, they go through, it's not just a briefing, they go through a training program, and they are formally certified for planning. Is there such a certification for the EDA? And if so, what action do you need from us in order for them to get the training so that we set them up for their long-term success?
Yes, ma'am. Great question. There are several training options. One of the things that we've identified is the Virginia Industrial Development Authority Institute training. It does cost for members to attend. That's obviously a conversation I'll have defer to the town manager. But there are training opportunities that we can send them to get them certified. Absolutely.
Okay. And I know that also with the Planning Commission at one point, I can't remember, Mike Chandler, I think it's his name, that was handling the course at that time. He actually came to the Planning Commission as well. So we had our certification, and then we also had people that came out to the town. Is that also not, well, you don't have to tell me now. I can get an email later on what that looks like, and then if there's action for us to ensure that we have our folks trained so that they're ready to hit the ground running, then we'll revisit that at that time.
Yes, ma'am. I was hoping to invite, I think it's Dr. Geddes from the Weldon Cooper to present an economic briefing. And then I've already reached out to our bond counsel to see if they're available to give sort of a public-private partnership 101, because I think it's going to be important for them to be aware of that.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one thing from me. With the meetings every other month, I know we spoke about this in our last meeting. Can we move that to doing, because this is the initial beginning, the first, as we're getting started and established in development, if we can move that to the, I think the recommendation was like, 6-8 months or something like that in the beginning, and then moving into the every other month, being that we were in the beginning of the establishment of?
I'm sorry, you mean monthly for 6 to 8 months? Okay.
Yes, I believe you're tracking with what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. We can make that change, and I'll update. There's actually a proposed calendar slide.
If I'm not mistaken, it was okay. At least for like the first year to get it rolling right, because to stretch it out every other month in the beginning, I don't see where that's helpful at. I believe we can get the best bang out of once a month every 30 days. That's fine for the first year to get that moving in the right direction on the ball.
Okay. And I think the initial proposal, just taking a look at all the other town meetings, I think the initial proposal is going to be the first Wednesday of every month.
Sounds
just because of town council meeting, architectural review board, planning commission, et cetera.
Right.
So,
Then after that year, we can roll into the every other month. That sounds right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Town Manager, did you have something?
I was just gonna add remarks as it relates to what Councilmember Pete was saying. I believe the council voted at the last council meeting for us to have a meeting once a month.
Yeah, once a month.
So we will make sure we do that.
Okay. All right. Councilman Young.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can you please explain to me, I know you touched on it briefly, the need or the reason for the separate tax ID?
Yeah, so the EDA, by nature of its establishment in the state code, allows them to enter into riskier investment in terms of lease revenue, as well as industrial revenue bonds, whereas the town is obligated to general obligation bond mostly. And so some of those investment is best. It has to do with moral authority in lieu of legal authority. And so if you're in a partnership and if something goes wrong, it doesn't bind the council to that situation. I'll just kind of put it that way.
Okay, thank you.
My question, so is there a meeting in October or they're meeting in November? I think there was the confusion with me on these slides. Are they getting together this month?
Yes, sir. We're trying to get them together for the 22nd, I think I said, October, just to get them to appoint officer, adopt their bylaws, and then we can resume the monthly.
Okay. And then, I just want to officially thank you for, putting this together, kind of giving an outline, emphasize the question that Councilman Young made, that, the EDA's role in turning revenue into reinvestment and kind of building that local commercial tax base for the town is going to be essential in driving down the cost of real estate taxes. So looking forward to this next phase, this new start for economic development, as we really gear down and put an emphasis on the development of our next 3 districts that we got these small area plans coming in for. So thank you. Looking forward to all the EDA members. Welcome aboard. Looking forward to seeing all the great work that you're doing. With that said, we will move on to our next agenda item. Thank you, sir. See. Next on the agenda is, did we exhaust all the presentations? Yes. All right, we're past the presentations. Now we're on our consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second that we approve the consent agenda. Any commentary? All right. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson?
Aye.
Councilmember Pete?
Yes.
Councilmember Fields?
Yes.
Councilmember Young?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles?
Aye.
Mayor Wood?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, next on our agenda, we move into our action items. All right, first action item, or the only action item, all right, is a public hearing to approve the ordinance for the FY 25-26 budget amendment. It's our first reading. It's actually, because we had it already. So this is our second reading. And so we'll go into a public hearing after your presentation. Then we'll close the public hearing. All right, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, Town Council. Tonight you have before you the 25-26 proposed operating budget amendment. I'll be going through it really quickly and for a summary of it. If you have any questions, please let me know. No, the presentation? Okay. Oh, that works. So tonight, we're amending the budget under the Code of Virginia 15.2. The budget can be amended basically with an increase of 1% in expenditures. We have now had that 1% increase on both revenues and expenditures. The new budget a new budget is now $12,790,628, a 1% increase over the fiscal year 2025-2026 adopted budget of $12,648,857, of roughly 1%. Revenue summary. Mostly the revenues that are changing is the other local taxes, which will now increase by $31,000. Miscellaneous revenues will increase by $50,000, and revenues from the Commonwealth or the state of Virginia will increase by $39,000 or $40,000. Thank you. Expectations of revenue changes, the new economic development that's in the town of Dumfries, which is why we are capturing that. That's the Rose Gaming Resort and the Wawa, increasing revenues from those following, increased revenues to these following sources: the local sales tax, business license, cigarette tax, lodging, as well as meals tax. All benefit from these new businesses that are coming in. The Finance Department also did modify one of our key revenues to reflect the current economic conditions, such as the gaming tax, reducing that from $6.1 million to $5.5, somewhat a reduction of 9%. Or $574,000. Again, this amendment reflects the current things that are going on with the closing of the recent Rosie's Gaming Center. So the general fund expenditures amended summary. General government, again, will be increased by $334,000, be offset by public safety, which will be reduced by $312,000. Public works will go up by $26,000, and planning boards and commission will increase by $82,000. We also capture what the council instructed us to do with passing of its non-departmental, and that's a reduction of $10,000. Again, amendments to the town manager's budget focus mostly on the increase of about $155,000 or 8% when you compare it to the 2026 adopted budget. Similarly, the wages, FICA, VRS, all that increased, but some of the more larger things that increased was contingency at $16,000. A town-wide branding campaign increased by $90K to cover necessary costs for effective branding of our town. Amendments to the town clerk budget, which was very small, simple salary increases, and then the remaining budget remains flat. Similar to finance, small, again, increases in salary and wages. FICA, VRS, that's an increase considering the promotions and the merit increases that the town has given to staff. Repairs increased by $2,000. The Department of Recreation, Civic and Engagement and Tourism. We are correcting a salary of the recreational events coordinator and created a half-a-year salary for historic preservation, and then the COLA, which all increased the salary count by $32K. That again increased the FICA, VRS, healthcare, and then increase the advertising budget by about $4K to include repairs, equipment, and then we also increased the tourism feasibility studies by $50K to ensure that we have enough money to perform a historic study. Treasurer, everything simply remained flat except, again, the COLA. One thing that did change was the 3% regional transient occupancy tax, which increased by $40K. This is reflected because of the increase that we have in lodging tax. and the additional amount of money we are incurring because of that. Police. This is where we have some significant changes. Again, we eliminated sergeant mid-year position, another sergeant, and another part-time captain. There were salaries were adjusted to promote selected police officers to corporal, creating internal promotional opportunities within the department. We appropriated funding for an accreditation manager to support the department's effort to achieve accreditation. Police salaries were increased, levels were increased to $74K to boost recruitment and competitiveness, and other contractual services was also increased as well by $10K. Public Works. Town beautification was increased by $5K to increase town beautification. Office supplies were increased by $3K. Part-time regular salary account increased by $15K in order to create a new college internship program. Economic planning and community development. The funding was appropriated to establish the Economic Development Agency, which is comprised of 7 members, including stipends for all members, funded limited of 2 meetings per month. Retail recruitment consulting account increased by $60K when you compared it to the fiscal year 2026 adopted budget. This is to help the town retain and recruit a consultant that can help the town Again, non-departmental budget was adjusted with the council based off of the decrease in one of the grants that was given. This budget simply reflects what that was passed by the town council. Moving on to the streets. Streets, VDOT, we are is expecting an increase in revenue by $21,270 for a new $375,984. The increase again was the other contractual service because that also will increase to offset the increase in revenue. Again, conclusions. Increase in business license of $200K, increase in lodging and transient tax of $180K, increase in meal taxes of $214,000. We did decrease the gaming tax to $630K. Expenditures increases and decreases, increase the general government again by $335K, decrease public safety by $313K, increase public works by $20K, community development, economic development planning by $82K. We decrease non-departmental by $11K, and then we increase the streets K by $21K. Thank you very much. This is the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget amendment.
All right, Council, any questions on the staff report? Okay, Councilman Pete.
I have one question. You said you had mentioned intern. I heard college. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, you did. A new college internship program, sir.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, any other questions, staff report? All right, seeing none, I will now open the public hearing.
Thank you, Council.
Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak at the public hearing?
No, sir.
All right, seeing no one signed up to speak at the public hearing, I will now close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Okay. I want to, acknowledge our financial department's strong fiscal management, adhering to all the council policies. We appreciate you bringing these changes forward. I want to reassure our residents that we remain in excellent financial standing, on our way to get this Triple Crown Budget Award. And so we're excited about the branding investment and the economic development and all the momentum that you're showing in this. So I think we're positioning Dumfries not just for now, but for that next decade of growth. So with that said, I motion that we adopt the budget amendments as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please do call for the question.
Councilmember Peterson.
Yes.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
All right. Thank y'all, council staff. Thank everybody for their participation today. Want to remind everybody tomorrow we're doing the insurance class on how to use insurance now, not just in your death benefit, 6:30 online and here. We got other things. Stay tuned. And with that said, let's continue building the town where progress meets purpose. This meeting is now adjourned.